Good morning, I'm Claudio Bisogniero, the Italian Ambassador to NATO, Secretary General, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you all for coming to these celebrations today here at the Norway House on the exact day of the presentation of the Three Wise Men report 60 years ago. If he hadn't been a great statesman, still Gaetano Martino, our own wise man, would have been remembered as a great scholar and a professor of international renown all the same. But Martino was actually both things at the same time. As a professor and a scientist, Martino was, among other things, the rector of the largest university in Europe, the University of Rome, La Sapienza. As a politician, he checked all the boxes of an extraordinary career, both at the national and international level. He probably inherited his passion for politics from his father, who was for several years mayor of the Sicilian city of Messina and rebuilt it after the dramatic earthquake of 1908. This is the father, not Gaetano Martino himself. Gaetano Martino did all the things, he did not rebuild Messina. So the political masterpiece of Martino as foreign minister was the Messina Conference, which less than 1 year after the failure of the European defense community relaunched in 1955 the idea of creating a European community. And for this success, Martino is considered one of the fathers of Europe, with Robert Schuman, Jean Monnet, and Paul-Henri Spaak. His name is, of course, associated also to the two other great statesmen of this time, Harvard Lange and Lester Pearson. Together, these three wise men shaped NATO's political role at a time when the focus of this alliance was mainly based on hardening its military stance. And the adoption and the strengthening of political consultation among allies and the call for more internal solidarity, cohesion, and unity permanently shaped NATO as a political military organization. And even if the report had not at that time an immediate impact on the alliance, let's recognize it, it was a visionary report for that time, the legacy and the ideas in it have deeply marked the alliance for many decades to come. We tend to underestimate it or to forget it today, but NATO is the only permanent consultative forum where the US and Canada and the Europeans sit together. It is true, occasionally, maybe once a year, we have the transatlantic dinners in New York or maybe a EU-US summit, but once again, NATO is the only place where this happens on a permanent basis, practically every day in the life of the alliance, the councils, the committees, not to mention the ministerials and the summit. And by the way, political dialogue is also at the core of NATO's relations and cooperation with some of our strategic players, meaning our important partners. Another firm belief of Gaetano Martino, of this truly wise man, was that European communities and the transatlantic bond represented by NATO are inseparable, not alternative, not competitive, but rather complementary processes aimed at merging in a unitary one, the unity of the Atlantic world. We often discuss about the closer cooperation between NATO and the European Union. Well, Martino's views can be a source for inspiration in that regard, and I'm sure that he would agree about the notion that a stronger European Union and a stronger European defense actually make NATO stronger. Tomorrow we also celebrate the 61st anniversary of Italy's admission to the UN. Also in this regard, I want to pay tribute to the legacy of Minister Martino, who played a crucial role in achieving that target and that goal. At a time when Italy is about to sit for the 7th time in the UN Security Council before handing over the baton to the Netherlands, Italians can be proud of the long path we have walked since 1955, when we joined the UN, also thanks to Martino's vision. Also, the alliance of today represents the embodiment of his dream. NATO today is much more than what most people think. NATO is a compact based on fundamental shared values. In fact, our meetings and discussions at all levels build a continuous fabric of political interaction that creates solidarity among countries that share a common vision on international affairs and common founding values. This, together, of course, with the collective defense solidarity clause enshrined in Article 5, this is what NATO is all about. And we owe it, in a very large measure, to Gaetano Mastino, Lester Pearson, and Halvar Lange. Thank you very much.